People paying money to see me in a 20x20 ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time once again. We are here, the 20x20 Ring Crew, back at you for episode number 79. Every time you say that to me, the episode number, it is, dude, it just flabbergasts me. I am Joe. I am here with my cohort, Matt. What's going on, bro?
Hey, yo, what's going on? 79, man.
79.
How does it feel to be 79? Oh, wait, you're only 40, right?
Fuck.
Close enough.
Sound like my daughter.
Yeah, 79 episodes we've been doing this, and man, it hasn't gotten stale yet, man.
No,
it's more and more fun every single week. So it's almost like 79 episodes. So what of it? But
I gotta say, today's been a really long day for me. I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep, and I've had
you and me both.
Yeah, I've had coffee. I've had more coffee. I could use some more coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I should have snorted more espresso before I got here. But nevertheless, we're back, episode 79. As always, we have wrestling on in the background.
Yes.
And so should you.
You should always have wrestling on.
Always.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I'm in the bathroom and I have my phone, there's a good chance that I got wrestling on my phone.
So I'm just gonna say, so down here in our where we record, I am a video game collector, and
there are walls of video games, people. Walls.
Joe hasn't seen anything. Yeah, what's coming this way. I am actually in the process of looking for another TV that I'm going to put down here, and I'm going to have side-by-side gaming, but I'm also going to have side-by-side to where if I'm gaming, I can have wrestling or something else on the background, mainly wrestling.
That's hardcore.
So, that's dedication to this podcast, and that's just my love for professional wrestling. So that's coming up. Hopefully by the end of the year. Actually, that's going to happen.
That's probably going to be me when AEW debuts on Wednesday nights.
Yeah,
because of NXT. I want to be able to check out both.
You know, it is very very much like that Monday Night Wars kind of feeling. You know,
it is,
and it's great too that. You know, for me, like, I'm an adult now, so I don't have to, make alliances with my siblings and say, hey, can you watch Raw for me and let me know when something good comes on? Because I'll be watching Nitro and running back and forth like a fucking mad child, trying to make sure we got both, because I couldn't use the VCR because the VCR is being used for other stuff. Yes, this is the VCR era, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
So... I had to watch it live or miss it.
For a majority of the Monday Night Wars, I spent it at my godparents' house, and they had obviously a TV in the living room with a VCR, and then they had a TV in their in a spare bedroom.
Yeah,
and I would be down the hall back and forth.
Yeah. So, there were certain guys where it's like, Stone Cold's on, Undertaker's on, I'm not going to list all the guys, but certain guys where it's like, they're on, like, you need to let me know, because I need to see what they're going to do next. But yeah, so it's going to be cool. So I mean, even if I don't have the TVs ready now, I mean, we have tablets and phones and laptops,
absolutely,
desktops, whatever. So there's many ways you can check out wrestling, but we had a pretty big weekend of wrestling. I have to admit, this was not the best weekend for me. A lot of plans kind of just blew up in my face, which is fine. That's life. That's how it goes. So I didn't get to watch really anything besides what we're about to talk about first. Though I am going to tell you, we are going to talk about the other shows ladies and gentlemen, for those who are new to this podcast, welcome aboard, by the way. But I'm going to tell you this right now. This is going to be a review show, and spoilers will be thrown out there. So I would never want to tell you not to listen, but if spoilers are something you don't want, check us out after you watch shows, and then come check us out.
Absolutely.
It has been, from what I've seen so far with NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. I don't know if Joe said what the show was.
No, that's what we're watching in the background.
Yes.
We are officially watching NXT UK Takeover Cardiff out there in Cardiff, Wales. We're in the midst of the triple threat tag team championship match between Gallus, Flash Morgan Webster, Mark Andrews, and the team of the Grizzled Young Vets. And it's a hell of a fucking match. I had a blast watching the show.
Yeah. So far it's been good, man, and people don't really understand how much UK wrestling has developed. It's such a it used to be like this kind of a traditional technical wrestling style, but it has picked up so much, and you see that a lot in this NXT show, and it's such a huge variety of styles, and it's absolutely great, man. I've definitely enjoyed what I've watched thus far. But the show that we're going to talk about first is a show that really headlined the weekend. Whether it was your favorite show or not, it was the show that was the most talked about, is what I mean by that.
Absolutely.
And that was AEW's All Out. Took place on August 31st to wrap up what has been a fantastic month for wrestling in August. Took place at the Sears Center Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. I don't know about you, but I don't have an official attendance count as of yet.
No, neither do I.
But if it's anything like All In, I'm assuming about 11 to 12,000.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
So again, this is the last show up until the weekly TV show starting October 2nd. It's a Wednesday night. When AEW goes on TNT. Right now it's just called AEW on TNT. I don't know if that's going to be the official name or not. But yeah, this is the final show. They're going to go all the month of September, no shows. Obviously, they're going to promote and do the YouTube shows and all that stuff. But the next time you see AEW will be on October 2nd, TNT, and it's going to be every week. So they put on the show, and we're just going to go through the card, and we're gonna break it down.
Absolutely.
We're going to start on the pre-show, or the buy-in, if you will. And just like Double or Nothing, they also had a casino battle royal. This time it was for the women. And also this match had championship implications, in which the winner would get a shot at the AEW Women's World Championship, which that match is going to be on the debut show October 2nd. Again, AEW on TNT. 21 woman casino battle royal. You had 21 total people, 5 different entrances where you had groups of 5 for the first 4 entrances, and then the 21st participant was the Joker.
Right.
She was introduced by herself. She was in her own wave. The match starts off with the clubs. That was Solandra Royal, Leva Bates, Fabi Apache, Priscilla Kelly, and Nyla Rose start off the match. You definitely get a good glimpse of international flavor with Fabi Apache for sure. Nyla Rose is somebody that they've pushed since the beginning of AEW, but really hasn't had the most success thus far. So you kind of wondered, like, when is she going to get her break, going to get her push? Because she was at the press conferences in the beginning of everything, and so Leva Bates, she's got the whole librarian situation going on, and then Solandra Royal and Priscilla Kelly, independent wrestlers that are getting an opportunity to showcase their talents for AEW. No official word if they're going to work for AEW in the future, but it was really cool. It was really cool to see that. Priscilla Kelly is somebody that I enjoy watching in the independent scene. She's definitely continues to improve. Very young wrestler in her own right. So good start to the match. You move on to the Diamonds, and you definitely get a little more star power in the sense of Penelope Ford, Shaza McKenzie, Sadie Gibbs, Big Swole, and then Britt Baker, who was definitely a crowd pleaser, to say the least. Definitely more star power. Shaza McKenzie, I was a little disappointed she got eliminated so fast.
That was pretty fast for her, yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely a bigger name. I'm not too familiar with who Sadie Gibbs is, though I think I've seen a couple of her matches on the indie scene. Big Swole, if I'm not mistaken, she did the Mae Young Classic, I think, last year.
Yes.
Okay. She's also the wife of Cedric Alexander, for those keeping...
I was going to say, yeah.
keeping
That's
track.
how I know her, unfortunately.
Penelope Ford, we forget that she's a great athlete in her own right. She's usually the valet for Joey Janela.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely bigger names in the Diamonds situation. But next up, you had the Spades. You had Tenille Dashwood, who made her Impact debut on TV the night before.
Right.
It was a TV taping, of course. So it was tape delayed. You had Evilise, who was making her debut. B. Priestley, Brandy Rhodes, and Awesome Kong. Definitely, I mean, obviously Brandy Rhodes is going to be a big name. Whether she's she's not really a good wrestler, but she's a big name because she is the was a chief branding officer.
Yeah, the chief branding officer.
Yeah, Awesome Kong, of course. She's, to me, she's a fucking legend in that ring. Definitely a lot of great talent there. B. Priestley, Evilise. I didn't expect Tenille Dashwood too. I didn't expect really anybody from this group to win, but definitely a lot more impactful participants continue to come more and more. In the Hearts, you had Allie, Nicole Savoy, Teal Piper, of course the daughter of the legendary Roddy Piper. ODB made it, at least I thought it was a surprise entrance, and then we got to see Jazz. It's been a while since I've seen Jazz in the ring. It was really cool to see her. And then, of course, the Joker. We thought we had plugged potentially Tessa Blanchard. We wondered who it was going to be.
I sincerely thought it was going to be Tessa Blanchard.
And it ended up being Mercedes Martinez, who still surprises me because I thought she was working for the competition.
She was. They stole her.
Okay.
As far as I know, they stole her. Unless this was something that had been booked for a while and they gave her the okay to hey, this is one last appearance. But the way things have been going between these two companies, it
just doesn't seem like that.
I highly doubt that. So, for all intent and purposes, she is AEW now. That was a big reason. She came out and I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
What is she doing there?
By the competition, by the way, for those who don't know, we are talking about the big company WWE. She was on the NXT brand.
Yeah, she was. If I'm not mistaken, she is in the photo of the graduating class, along with Austin Theory, which is their newest class.
Right.
So I don't know what happened, but again, it just leads me to ask the question of what happened between them and Evilise. Mm-hmm. Evilise tried out; she was there. I don't know I don't know whether it was she wasn't happy with what went on, or they weren't happy with what went on. But it was good for me to see her. Show up here.
Absolutely. As far as Evilise goes, you said last week that she didn't make the cut. She doesn't seem like the type that, even for WWE standards in NXT. Right. To say no, we're not going to use you. I mean, she definitely somebody you can use.
Yeah.
Even if it's just supporting talent, if you will. I mean, she's that good. But yeah, I mean it was really cool and a little shocking to see Mercedes Martinez, and I'm glad she's there. If that's the case, I'm glad she's at AEW because she's going to be used more.
Yeah.
In AEW, she's an older talent now. We get that. But she's so good in that ring.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe me, you need to check out some of her work in
Shimmer,
Shine,
yep.
And a plethora of other wrestling organizations out there. So to speed things up, Nyla Rose wins the Battle Royal. What did you think of this overall?
Overall, it was better than I thought it was going to be. Initially, I thought and don't get me wrong, obviously they plugged that they were going to have 21 participants, but it was going to be interesting to me to see where they pulled all the talent from, because they don't have that kind of a roster yet.
Right.
So both Mr. Wrestling 6 and I, that was a big question from us, like, where the hell are they getting some of these? And then Fabio Apache shows up, and I'm like, oh, that's right. They're doing business with AAA, of course. What better reservoir to draw from?
Sure.
So made a lot of sense.
I was hoping to see Lady Shani potentially later on.
Yeah, but I don't know what the deal was with the lack of AAA talent
or Japanese talent on here.
Yeah, that too. So I don't know. Maybe it was a travel issue or what have you, but that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I was overall I was happy. Obviously, they're pushing Nyla Rose. There's been some backlash on social media about them pushing her as opposed to other women in the battle royal, because not that this should make a difference, but apparently there's some people they can't handle that this is a thing. But obviously Nyla Rose is transgender, and there are some people out there that unfortunately think that it's just not fair.
Okay.
That it's not fair to...
I didn't know she was transgender.
The other participants. So
sure. You do realize it's pro wrestling, right, guys?
Yeah, I quite honestly, I don't see the big deal.
Yeah.
As long as she decides to do her job, do your job. Get that title over. Add prestige to it.
That's all that really counts.
That's all that really counts. So.
Yeah. I didn't know Nyla Rose was transgender. I don't care if she's transgender.
It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
To me.
And it's pro wrestling. It's pro wrestling. So, we talked about this. We've already talked about this, where we have intergender matches. Look at what Tessa Blanchard is doing. Yeah. So why does it matter if the roles are reversed?
Vampiro came out, and Tessa Blanchard had posted something on social media in accordance with this, and she said, I've never once used my sexuality to overshadow me being an athlete. Like, I go in there, I'm an athlete first and foremost. And Vampiro kind of chimed in there and replied to her and was like, "Hey, we're friends. I'm your friend, but you're an awesome wrestler and everything. But the moment you show us like bikini pictures or things like that, like, it just takes away from the wrestler that you are." Mm-hmm. And while he does have a point, because let's face it, I mean, you're having, you're doing pictures like that. Unfortunately, I'm not saying it's like this for everyone, but unfortunately, there are a majority of the people out there that are going to see those photos and just think of you as eye candy right off the bat. Mm-hmm. They're not going to think, oh, she's a super talented athlete.
Sure.
Because you're technically dressing provocatively. It is what it is, folks. But none of that, no one's sexuality should come into play when it comes to pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. I mean, you still have, at the end of the day, when that bell hits, you have to wrestle. Right. Gay, straight, trans, pan, whatever your flavor is.
And keep in mind, to kind of rebut what Vampiro said.
Vampiro.
I mean, it goes both ways. It does. I mean,
it does.
You see, you have male wrestlers, and I have both male and female wrestlers that I follow on Instagram, for example, post gym workouts. They're topless and they're flexing. Well, why are they flexing? Because it is sex appeal. Yeah, they're showing off. So it goes both ways. I get what he's saying, and because of how society works, he's right. but I think that's the point that Tessa Blanchard's trying to make, is that we're trying to change that mentality. And it's not going to work overnight. But, I had this conversation about Toni Storm, I think, last month. Yeah. She did a photo shoot as well. And, look, she's a gorgeous woman. And but it's great. But I can look at those pictures and be like, man, Toni Storm is absolutely beautiful. A very gorgeous woman. But, like, still, being a wrestling fan, when Toni Storm music hits and she's coming out to the ring, she doesn't mean she's ugly, but I'm watching Toni Storm, the wrestler, wrestle and work, and that's just the mindset. It's all about the mindset of the fans, and I implore people out there to, I'm not saying to, if they're going to post those pictures, as long as they're posting it and nobody else is posting it for them, go ahead and look at them and like them and whatever, but once that bell rings, judge them based off of that, and that's the whole point. And as far as this Nyla Rose situation, it's another one of those silly things. And I really, when it comes to the transgender talk, I stay out of it because, one, I don't know too much about the science behind it, and quite frankly, it's pro wrestling, so it really doesn't matter in a sense.
Right.
I guess it'd be a little bit different if we were talking combat sports that were supposed to be real, because I still have my issue about that. I haven't let that one go, by the way.
We will get back to that, because there's something I want to
I know what you're talking about. I wanted to bring it up too. But yeah, Nyla Rose is the she's the winner of the Casino Battle Royale. She is going to face somebody at the AEW on TNT debut on Wednesday, October 2nd. Definitely make sure you check that out. And we will actually talk about her opponents later on the show. We're still on the pre-show. Move on to the tag team match. Angelico and Jack Evans versus Private Party. Team of Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. This one goes 11.5 minutes. This is your final match for the pre-show. What do you think of this one?
This was great. Again, it's always nice to see Angelico and Jack Evans as a tag team. And for those of you who are not familiar with them, please, I implore you, look them up on YouTube. A lot of work in Mexico for CMLL for the most part. AAA as well. And yeah, they're a super legit tag team. It is really nice to see them working with AEW. This match was great. I'm not too familiar with Private Party, and they impressed me. They definitely had the chops going. And
yeah,
it was cool. It was cool to see. Definitely a very rambunctious tag team, to say the least.
They got that new. That present day vibe of Public Enemy as far as their goofy gimmick.
Yeah.
But when the bell rings, like, man, they were really fucking on it,
dude,
man.
Yeah, they were tearing it up, and it was interesting to see too. You would see like Jack Evans do like handstands, and but that's what Jack Evans does.
Yeah.
But he was doing it to taunt them, so at every opportunity, each team was taunting each other like that back.
Right.
And that was cool to see, too. Just little things like that. You never see anybody taunt anyone with a handstand, So.
And this is one of those things about AEW that I think everybody should like. You got teams that we're not familiar of, but the Young Bucks, they knew these guys, and they plugged these guys very, very much, because not only did they get this match, but they're also going to be facing the Young Bucks, and Private Party we're referring to here, in the first round of the tag team tournament. They're handpicked by one of the most well-known tag teams in the world.
Yeah, I can't wait. It should be a pretty damn good match.
So I have a feeling that Young Bucks are going to take that match, but what an opportunity for these kids.
Absolutely.
And they are just, it's going to be on national TV. They're going to get that kind of exposure, and win or lose, they've already won. And that's something that AEW does. They give people opportunities to not just job, but say, hey, look at what we can do. You know, I mean, they might go 10, 15 solid minutes, and, you know, now, win or lose, like, man, those are the guys that, you know, held their own against the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
So that's what AEW is all about, man. This was a really fun match. Angelico and Jack Evans, they continue to impress, but, you know, this is one of those first matches now, because now we're 4 events into AEW, and, you know, they, ever since the beginning of AEW, they have said that wins and losses are going to matter. Well, Angelico and Jack Evans haven't won a match, you know, so it's like, to me, this is where I start to question, like, is the booking going to be a problem when it comes to stuff like that? Are they going to run into problems with guys going on losing streaks and things of that nature? Because this is a really good tag team, and it's just not doing them any favors that when they're... Because for this show, they had the record, the wins and loss record.
Yeah, they showed it on the screen.
On the screen when they show their names in the beginning, so as they were making their entrance. So this is one of those first times where it's like, are they going to run into problems with that? Because a lot of times in pro wrestling, you kind of just like sweep that under the rug. They're like, hey, they lost, you know, 8 of their last 10 matches. Where in this case, now we're going to showcase that.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't, you know.
Yeah, I'm a little puzzled by it too. We'll see. We'll see how it works out. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Numbers don't lie. So,
True.
You know, if you do get somebody on a cold streak or hot streak, you're gonna notice.
Yeah.
The fans are gonna notice, especially since you're putting the win-loss record up on the TV screen. It'll be interesting to see how they address it.
Right.
You know? I'm very, you know, I have faith in their decisions.
Sure, I do too.
And it'll be interesting what creative they come up with to address the wins and losses. But yeah, this match, if you watch this match and you still weren't sold on the pay-per-view, shame on you. You should have done bought it.
We gotta get a P.O. box so they can start mailing their wrestling
cards.
I don't know how you're not entertained by what you saw in both matches. Really, it was a
Yeah.
solid battle royal, and you know, you and I we've gone on record. We're not big battle royal fans, Royal Rumble fans. Like, they're fun, they can be fun, but they're one of our least favorite gimmick matches.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But especially battle royals, because they are a clusterfuck. And, you know, there was times during the Battle Royal again, too, where it was a clusterfuck. But anyways, we already talked about that. Moving on to the main show, there's 8 matches that we're going to go through on this main roster. The first match, I didn't even know what was happening. We didn't talk about it in last week's build-up show, so it must have been like a last-minute placement
Edition,
match. We have what they're being called now as Jurassic Express.
Or a small boy and his dinosaur.
Whatever you want to call them, it's the team of Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt taking on SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky in a 6-man tag team match. This match goes 11:45. Good way to start off the show. You know, we talked about, you know, having the 3-way match, which we're definitely going to talk about soon here. But this is definitely another great way to start off the show. A fast-paced 6-man tag match. It's got its own level of chaos going on in it. Good spots. Definitely a good, solid match to kick off the show.
Marco Stunt is one of those talents. You and I got to see him in person at a Black Label Pro show.
Yeah, you got to meet him.
Yeah, he was fucking phenomenal, and he's one of my daughter's favorites. He did not disappoint. Neither team disappointed,
sure.
And they worked very well together in the ring. It's so much to the point where after the match, you know, there was a right at the end where Marco looked like he got hurt.
Yeah.
Something to do with his neck, and you know they finished the match, and All three members of SoCal Uncensored came up to him to make sure he was okay, and sportsmanship was had, and it was a good time for everybody. This was excellent to start the show. Luchasaurus, man. I understand he's part of this team right now, but he's one of those that has so much fucking potential. It's just like oozing out of his ears. And I look for him to be a singles competitor very soon. I mean, he could do it all, man.
So I guess this would be a good time to talk about potential. So, real quick here, by October 29th, which is the last Wednesday of October, we're going to have 3 champions. We have an AEW World Champion, which we will discuss, but you're going to have tag team and women's champion by that time. Do you see room for other gold? Do you see them at some point having a secondary title? Do you see them doing the international route to having a 6-man tag title? And if so, because when you have one solo title, the problem with having one solo title is that you obviously limit who's going to be champion.
Yeah.
You don't want to be switching the belt all over the damn place. So do you bring in a second title? Do you bring a secondary title at some point? Not saying right away. Not saying this year. But at some point, do you bring in a secondary title for a guy like Luchasaurus, who I feel will probably be more of a secondary champion to start? He's got the talent, all the fucking talent in the world. But for me, I have to wonder, is the gimmick too gimmicky for them to be, even for AEW, to be world champion?
So shortly after...
Oh, shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are still watching NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. It is Mastiff versus Coffee in a
last man standing
match. And Mastiff just whipped Coffee into the ropes, and he threw him into the corner so fucking hard the ropes broke.
Jesus.
My daughter and I were watching this as it happened, and I looked away for one quick second, and she screamed, "Holy shit!" I was like, what could have happened? I look up, and Mastiff has got the corner in Coffee's mouth here, as it happens for us right now, and yeah, totally broke the ring. Getting back to whether there be whether belts are too gimmicky or what have you. I'll tell you what. So the Bucks have already come out and said they don't want to confuse their fans with too many titles.
And that's a dangerous game.
It is a dangerous game.
Yeah.
So kudos to them. They also said that will be the last time you ever see or hear about the AAA tag team titles on their shows.
Okay.
Which I don't quite understand, because if you're doing business with AAA, sooner or later it's like a perk of doing business with another company. Like you bring their champions in. I'm not saying that the titles have to be on the line at an AEW show, but to sit there and say that you're not going to hear about those titles at all anymore ever again, I think that would be a mistake.
Yeah.
And that leads me to my next point here is, you bring up Luchasaurus, do they bring in another title specifically for someone like him?
Or just, secondary talent.
Or secondary, yeah. I'm going to say right now, no.
Okay.
And I think this is where the win-loss records will factor in. If anybody is any kind of familiar with like Pro Wrestling Illustrated, just about any wrestling magazine,
sure,
you're going to have your top 10. They always have a top 10 in there of ranked competitors for every organization,
okay,
and who the champ is. That's always been a thing. And a lot of people don't take stake in them, but it's fun. It's so ironic because Ric Flair especially will tell you that most of the boys still read that shit, and it's like It's like the last bit of kayfabe there is. They still they take stock in it.
God, I hate the fact they do.
And so there's some of them like legitimately get bent out of shape. Like, why is so and so above me, or why am I below so and so? And Flair laughs about it, and I think it is laughable to an extent. But for me, growing up, that was like the gospel to me. If you were, whether you were watching NWA or World Class or whatever, you got to see those top 10 guys and whoever the champ was. So if that TV wasn't available to you, you still got to see. You had like some sort of a summary, a synopsis of what was going on, and you could sit there and be like, man, if Michael Hayes is third overall in the rankings and Kerry Von Erich's the champ, he's only got to do this, this, and this to get a title shot, and it would just drive my imagination wild.
That makes a lot of sense. I see what you're saying.
So, hopefully, the win-loss record here that they're trying to throw into the mix with AEW, hopefully it works something along those lines. I would love to see that work somehow, some way along those lines. But no secondary title. I say let them duke it out with numbers. And the other thing I have to say is about titles in general. Great, don't bring too many titles in for your company, but also don't limit your talent. If one of your talent goes out and wins some tag team titles or a TV title or something, and you're already doing business with that company, let them do it. Let them bring that belt on your TV or on your pay-per-view or whatever. It's only good for the business. Now you don't just have this level competitor on your roster. Well, now that person's a world TV champ or a tag team champ in another place. Simple as that. I mean, it worked back in the territorial days for if and when they let them do it.
Yeah.
And for me, that's always been a plus. I mean, I remember the Ultimo Dragon showing up in WCW at one point, and he had 9 titles from where he had won them all in the Super J Cup. Yeah. And you look at it and you're like, holy fuck, who is this guy? Guess what? He did it on WCW. Yeah. And that's what mattered.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Bischoff had, that was like a stroke of genius on Bischoff letting that happen. Most people be like, fuck that, you keep your titles off my TV. No. Bring all that gold over. We'll show them who we got over here. Yeah. So,
I guess my point was with AEW is that we don't, you don't just have like a guy like Luchasaurus, who is a phenomenal athlete. To have him limited by gimmicks. And I feel better about it because Cody was victim of that before. Yeah. That, and it's totally plausible to have a guy in a dinosaur mask to be your world champion. Yeah. It's pro wrestling. Exactly. And so long as he can get the belt over like with Nyla Rose, that's all that matters. And I just hope they have that mentality. I agree with you about the Young Bucks and the AAA tag team titles. That is a horrible mistake if they don't use those belts again at some point. Yeah. Use it sparingly. Everything used sparingly. Just like spices, use sparingly. You're gonna have a good dish. So. Yep. Moving on to the next match was a kind of surprise that it was on so early. At least I thought it was. We had the dream match, the one that you thought was going to be match of the night, and
I did.
And I'm going to ask you that question later.
Sure.
But it was Kenny Omega versus Pac. This was the match that we talked about very much in the previous episode. They go a little over 23 minutes, and it ends by way of referee stoppage due to submission. What do you think of the overall match? What do you think about the finish? What do you think about the future of these two?
overall, the match was to my liking. I thought it was a good match. You could tell that there was still a little hesitance on Pac's part to kind of do business.
Yeah.
That's why you had Kenny, and you know what? I'm gonna stop myself right here. On both parts, both him and Omega, I think, for whatever reason, I'm not in any one of their heads, but for whatever reason, they didn't want to agree. They didn't want to agree on a finish, and so this is what we got. So now Omega didn't get pinned clean,
right?
And
he didn't tap out.
And Pac got a win under his belt.
Yeah. Over
Kenny Omega. So everybody's happy. Hopefully, I hope to see this match happen again.
I think it's safe to say, so long as Pac plays by the
and that's the thing. So, but yeah, was it match of the night for me? No, I thought maybe my hopes and dreams got the best of me here.
Sure.
But going into it, it is a dream match.
Yeah.
It's
you're
Kenny
absolutely
fucking
right.
Omega versus Pac.
You're right.
How can you not sit there and think of it any other way? But after it happened, yeah, definitely not the match of the night for me. But I did enjoy it, and I do look for, obviously this is some very unfinished business between the two, and we'll see a rematch.
It is very unfortunate that Pac has the mentality that he does. He knows he's good. He knows he's very good in this business, and I know he's dealt with some shit. There's no doubt about that. He has taken his frustration with the company. He's taken his frustration with the industry and how he was treated in the past, and he is taking it out on everybody else. AEW has never wronged Pac, and as far as we know, and twice now we've seen Pac kind of just. Sum it up, be a fucking douchebag to them. The first time, not doing the match at Double or Nothing. This time, you could see where he was stiff. It wasn't a bad match. It just it wasn't what it should have been. And Kenny Omega is to blame, as you mentioned, for that as well. You have two guys who definitely think very highly of themselves, and rightfully so. Two of the best wrestlers in the world. I would say makes a lot of legit wrestling fans top 10. I say legit because I don't want to see like fucking Roman Reigns in your fucking top 10 or The Miz. Like if I see that shit, like I'm moving on. I'm sorry. But there's no doubt about it. Like there's definitely an earned amount of ego. But guys, this is fucking All Out. This is your last show, especially Kenny Omega, who's a fucking executive VP.
Yeah.
This is your last show until you go on TNT. Why not just, for lack of better terms, go fucking all out? Go fucking all out. And even if you're not satisfied with the finish, in between the match, in between the bells, give the fans everything. Leave everything to the imagination. The ending alone, the finish alone was enough to us to say, this is not over.
Right.
This is not over. I would have taken, and maybe you disagree with this, I would have taken a great match that ended in a, I was going to say double DQ, but more better a time limit draw.
Yeah.
I would have taken that.
Yeah.
If nobody wants to win or lose here, I should say. There's ways you still could have finished the match. I'm assuming that it was a 25-minute, 30-minute time limit. If it was 25 minutes, I mean they're like a minute away from the time limit.
It was either 20 or 25 for sure.
Because they go 23, almost 23 and a half. So I mean you were already close to it. I mean you could have booked it to where you've reached, the time limit draw. And just everybody hit their moves the best. I mean, not that they didn't, but there was parts where it was sluggish. And I was like, these guys are a lot better than this. This right here, if I'm grading on a curve, I'm giving these guys a C, in my opinion. But because they are Kenny Omega and Pac, it was a solid B plus A minus match. But you expected a lot more out of this. I did too, and it's a disappointment, but it was still a good match. If that makes any sense for you guys listening out there. We're going to move right along. We're going to move to the three-way match, also known as the Crackle Barrel Clash. Probably one of the more interesting matches you'll ever see. Darby Allin, Jimmy Havoc, Joey Janela. What do you think of this match?
This was fucking exceptional. Both you and I, we have seen multiple hardcore matches. Hardcore wrestling isn't anything new to us. But these three guys have somehow been able to take you and make it feel fresh again when it comes to hardcore wrestling. And I gotta say, the usage of actual barrels is still new to me. And obviously we've seen it done before with AEW, but damn, this is crazy shit. You have Jimmy Havoc fucking being duct taped to a chair and then having thumbtacks poured in his mouth and then taped up, and you have Darby Allin with that crazy ass just fall away drop,
doing a fucking acid drop on with thumbtacks on a skateboard. You've never seen shit like that before.
No, that was fucking nuts.
You knew going into this match that it was going to be fucking crazy. And I'm surprised they went 15 minutes. Yeah. It's like, fuck, dude. 15 minutes of this shit?
Yeah, it didn't feel like 15 minutes, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But shit, man, I really do feel for all three of those guys. They were fucking hurting for certain.
The Jimmy Havoc takes the victory. What do you see the future being for these three guys? I mean, do you see these guys being for a lot of companies? This might be the cap. This is where you see them, these kind of matches. Darby Allin, Joey Janela, Jimmy Havoc. What's the likelihood of these guys being legit world champion competitors? And again, I know your win-loss records are into play. But do you see guys like them being world champion AEW?
It's really easy to sit there and take someone like Darby Allin, and put him in a match like this, and you just by the way he looks and what he's doing in the ring, you just associate him with just this kind of wrestling.
Right.
But if you know anything about Darby Allin, he's so much more than this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That can be said about Joey Janela. It can be said about Jimmy Havoc. The sky is the limit for all three of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I get it right now. It's it's a new and upcoming organization. You want to showcase these guys in some of the best work they do. So yeah, put them in a match like this. But should you always put them in matches like this? No. And I don't think AEW will do that. I don't think AEW is going to do that and pigeonhole any of their talent.
And you certainly don't want to do. Nobody should be doing these kind of matches
all the time
on a regular basis.
Right.
They took a lot of risks in this match.
So that being said, no, I don't think they're going to pigeonhole anybody into doing this all the time. These three guys, again, the sky's the limit, man. They can do anything and be anything for this company. And that includes tag teams.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. This was a super fun match. I definitely enjoyed it. There was so many elements to this thing, and it was a fucking car wreck, dude. It was so much going on. But thankfully all three guys are still moving, because they took some stunts, they took some bumps where it was just like, man, I don't know, and I certainly don't know how you top that, and I think AEW did as far as bumps go throughout the night. But hell of a way to change the pace after that Pac Omega match, and then to give us that fast paced run.
We're gonna pause for the cause and pay some bills, so give us a couple minutes and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
This episode of the 20 by 20 Ring Crew has been brought to you by Podcoin. Joe, if you're anything like me, you love podcasts, but wouldn't it be better if you got paid while doing it?
Absolutely. Fellas, ladies, children of all ages, you can now be paid to listen to us, the 20 by 20 Ring Crew. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Sit there, enjoy Matt and I go back and forth about professional wrestling all day, all night. Now, it's not straight out cash. You'll get paid in pod coins, but you can change those pod coins in for stuff like gift cards to Starbucks, Target, Best Buy, what have you.
Etc. Or, if you're anything not like me, you can donate those pod coins to charity.
Which is, that's always a good thing.
Absolutely. So all you gotta do is visit us at 20x20crew.com/podcast/podcoin. I know it's a little bit of a tongue twister.
It is.
Again, that's 20x20crew.com/podcast/podcoin.
And don't forget, use the invite code 20x20pod when you sign up for the Podcoin app. It's going to give you 300 free coins right off the bat the moment you sign up for free.
And Podcoin is available for both iOS and Android.
And you get to listen to not just us, but a plethora of podcasts at your leisure. And the more you listen, the more money you make. It's that simple, folks. 20x20crew.com/podcast/podcoin. Get yourself signed up today. Remember, invite code 20x20pod for 300 free coins. And as always, we will
see you in the ring.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thank you for hanging in there with us while we pay some bills. Thank you for visiting our sponsors, continuing to listen to us. You know the drill by now. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Getting back to All Out here, AEW's All Out. The next match on the card was the tag match where the stipulation was whoever won the match is going to get a first round bye in the AEW inaugural World Tag Team Championship tournament. This was between the Dark Order, which is Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, taking on the Best Friends, aka Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. A pretty solid match.
Yeah.
It's always good to see the Best Friends. You and I both still are of the opinion that the Dark Order, meaning Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, are going to make it pretty far, pretty deep into that tag team tournament.
Yeah.
These guys are no joke. You call them the Dark Order or Super Smash Bros, whatever you want to refer to them as. They're a legit tag team. Having the what were they calling them during the pay-per-view? The creepy perverts.
The creepy perverts.
Yeah. all of their minions or what have you on the outside. I think they had I'd say between 6 and 10.
Yeah,
were out there, but there was a creepy pervert chant by the audience. Just that whole gimmick,
yeah.
And the way they function as a tag team, man, they're a well-oiled fucking machine. And if you pay attention, they do a lot of old school stuff, man. They cut the ring off quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing. It's refreshing to see tag team. A focus on tag team wrestling, in any organization.
That is something that's going to be talked about more on this podcast. But yeah, this match 13.5 minutes ago was a little over 13.5 minutes. This was, again, we talked about it last week. This was your advertisement to the tag team tournament. These two teams are going to be in the tournament, win or lose. This is for a first round bye. But this is a good solid tag team match. You had old school, new school. I definitely caught that a lot too with the Dark Order. They were cutting off the ring effectively, something that doesn't get mentioned as much as it should. But yeah, man, when they first got when they first were introduced at Double or Nothing, there was really not a whole lot of buzz about them. But there should have been. And then now it's definitely, as they've caught, for whatever fans they needed to earn, they definitely have earned those fans. And I really do think that they're going to be a threat in this tournament. I don't know if they'll win it, but they certainly will be a force to be reckoned with, in my opinion. There is a possibility that we see this match again in this tournament. That is something that it could have technically happen. And I wouldn't be opposed to that necessarily. But this was a good, solid tag team match, man. You know, it wasn't overly flashy, but it doesn't have to be. You know, the tag team division in AEW is just like the singles division, both male and female. It has a lot of things to offer, and this was one of those great advertisements. This was definitely a good change of pace after what we saw in the previous match. This was definitely a really fucking solid match. The Dark Order takes the match. They are going to get the first round bye. And because of that, and just the old school wrestling fan in us, usually you got the super heel tag team that's going to make a deep run, a dangerous run.
Oh yeah.
And I know they're not going to go old school babyface heels. I get that, but this one's almost too like it's there for you. You might as well run with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, and we saw some more shenanigans after the match, and we got introduced to maybe a potentially third best friend in the way of Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy.
He was officially announced as a signee a couple of weeks ago, and here he is officially debuting. Actually, he was at the Battle Royale at Double or Nothing, but here he is at All Out, helping out best friends. It's always good to see him.
Fucking tope suicida through the ropes.
Hands in pockets.
Hands in pockets the entire time.
Suck on that, PCO.
I'm telling you, man. If you don't call that talented, man, I don't know what you call that.
For anybody that hates the gimmick, get over it, because this dude can fucking wrestle.
He can wrestle. Yeah. He can wrestle.
Like just do anything with your hands in your pockets. It is not easy.
Well.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know, this is a family show, okay? But yeah, man, like it was a good, solid tag team match. I love the introduction to Orange Cassidy as well. See what that leads to. But yeah, man, it was fun. It was a really fun match. Good advertisement. They gave him good, solid time. Again, 13 and a half minutes, a little over that. I got no complaints about this match. It wasn't overly flashy because it didn't need to be.
No, it didn't. And it's a great way to give you a good intro into this tournament coming up, man.
Yeah.
So,
which I don't even think, as of this recording, we have the full brackets.
No, there are no full brackets yet, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely cool with that.
Next match, we have a singles match. The winner of this match will face Nyla Rose at AEW on TNT on October 2nd for the AEW Women's World Championship, the inaugural champion. The match is Hikaru Shida versus Riho.
Absolutely. Hikaru Shida, one of my favorites in the division.
Yeah.
She can wrestle. She can throw down. Great technical wrestler.
Absolutely, yeah.
Riho. So there's a lot of people that I've talked to who have a problem with her, even as just general wrestling.
Okay.
She's so small. She's like 98 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah, she's definitely tiny.
And in this match, you saw firsthand she had issues with her performance in the ring because she is so light. There were times where if she were heavier, she would have been able to use the momentum or her body weight with her as opposed to against her.
Right.
And could have won the match quicker. She still beat Shida.
Yeah. 13 and a half minutes it goes. And...
Yeah. So she's no slouch.
No.
But I think for a lot of people, they're just not too familiar with a lot of Joshi wrestling. There's a lot of women her size that compete and they can go.
You look at a Kairi Sane, she's not much bigger.
No, she's not much bigger. So it's
definitely a plausible thing.
Absolutely. Never judge a book by its cover.
But let's throw it out there now. You mentioned Riho wins the match. By the way, this is a very solid, good technical wrestling Joshi match. Riho now has to face Nyla Rose,
whom she's pinned before.
Yes, she has. Nyla Rose. Again, we're not talking about sexuality here. Her build weight is 169 pounds.
She's almost 2.
Riho's build weight is 92 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's quite the disadvantage.
So, pro wrestling, again, we've seen Big Show versus Rey Mysterio, for example. We've seen these types of mismatches.
Sure.
Going into this match, how do you think that they're going to prepare to battle that? Because that is going to be a big emphasis of size difference, and we already saw it being a problem in this match. How much more of a problem is it going to be in a match against Nyla Rose? As far as just win or lose doesn't matter, but just the pulling off the moves.
I think what it boils down to is experience.
Yeah.
Riho obviously experienced. I'm not too familiar with how much experience Nyla Rose has right off the top of my head.
Sure.
But all it takes is that one roll up, that one move to lose a match or to win a match.
Mm-hmm.
So anything is possible here. All I can really say is Riho definitely has her work cut out for her. If Nyla Rose is any kind of smart, she will use that weight. And I'm not saying she's going to continually pounce on her and
sure.
things like that. But you're a bigger person. Learn to use your weight as an advantage.
Yeah, it is a weapon. It is a weapon.
No
doubt about that.
Something as simple as a headlock.
Mm-hmm.
Rest your weight on her while you have the headlock on her.
Yeah.
It weighs you down. It weighs your opponent down. It physically wears them down throughout the match. So if she's gonna approach it smart, again, Riho definitely already has her work cut out for her. It looks bleak right now.
Yeah.
But she has beat her before. So
out of the two in this match, Hikaru Shida, Riho, if you're a booker, who did you make the same decision? Or was Shida the better?
I would have liked to have seen Shida take it and go up against Nyla Rose.
For me, she's more going based off of I've seen very little of both of these women, but out of the two, she seems more established.
Yes,
and for me, we're talking inaugural champion. I got no problem with Nyla Rose at this point. They've kind of taken the getting the new person over approach, because you figure first champion, it's gonna Britt Baker's probably gonna be involved in that because she's probably the most over woman they have. Maybe an Awesome Kong, maybe something with heel work like Brandy Rhodes, which I'm glad they didn't go that route because she's horrible. Yeah, I for me, out of the two between Shida and Riho, Hikaru Shida is the more established talent, in my opinion, more polished, I should say. But Riho's definitely won me over as well as many out there. It should be an interesting match. For me, I'm gonna put the prediction out there right now. I think it is going to be Nyla Rose as the inaugural champion. But it can go either way. But I really think the way that they've been pushing Nyla Rose since the beginning, I think it's safe to say that Nyla Rose is probably going to be your inaugural champion.
Yeah.
Speaking of women, real quick in AEW, I mentioned last week Kylie Ray not being in the Battle Royale. Maybe she would be. I just found out she was granted her release due to undisclosed medical issues.
Her back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is a back issue. So yeah, that's one thing. I wasn't alone in this one. People were, where's Kylie Ray been? That's what's been going on. So whatever is going on as far as the specifics of the back, obviously we hope for a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
And hope to see her in the ring, whether it's AEW or anywhere
sooner or
later in the future. So, but yeah, the women's division is looking really good for AEW. It's gonna be a fun to see how they what they do with that division, because there's so much to work with. It's gonna be interesting to see who sticks around from the Battle Royal, because not everybody's gonna stick around,
right?
But who sticks around, as far as both established and up and coming. So there's a lot to look forward to in that division. There's a lot to look forward to in this next match. This was no titles, no tournaments. This is a grudge match.
It's a grudge match.
Grudge match through and through. You have Cody going one-on-one against Shawn Spears, but we have to point out in this match who they came out with. Shawn Spears, of course, it was well known he was going to come out with Tully Blanchard.
Right.
For Cody, it was going to be who was going to accompany him to the ring. We had predicted Arn Anderson, but it ended up being MJF to start.
Right.
Let's talk about the actual match first. They go almost 16 and a half minutes. It was pretty much what we expected it to be. It was definitely a heavy-hitting grudge match.
Absolutely.
And they sold it as that.
Yeah.
This is storytelling right here. And goddamn, Cody is so fucking good at it. and Shawn Spears, of course, did a great job too. But if you go through, with the exception of the match against Darby Allin, every match that Cody has done for AEW has been a story-driven match.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the one against Dustin Rhodes at Double or Nothing, and now this one against Shawn Spears. We know Cody can wrestle a fast-paced match. We know he can wrestle technical wrestling. But, this is where you read the room, you follow the storyline, and you give us this hard-hitting, no punches pulled grudge match, and they fucking delivered it again
to the T. It was really interesting to see MJF come out there with him. That was Cody's choice.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting.
Especially the way MJF was involved with the match.
Yeah,
came across as very inexperienced. Whether that was intentional or not
sure.
Remains to be seen, and for my money, you and I both, all three of us here that night, we were watching All Out, we all kind of said the same thing, it's sooner or later there's going to be some headbutting between Cody and MJF.
Yeah.
And this would be the start of it. This is how you build that story.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I'm all for it. And while Arn Anderson didn't start out the match with Cody, he did show up, and
all his buckets of blood.
He can still hit that fucking spine buster, man. It was good to see him.
Does anybody in this era can they do a spine buster quite like Arn Anderson does?
Yes, I have seen Tetsuya Naito do a spine buster.
He's got a great spine buster.
That's up there. Who else? There aren't many, but there's at least one or two more.
It's an easy move to do, but not everybody quite does it.
It's an easy move to do, but it's one of those where it's so simple it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of hard hitting, by the way, we are now watching the main event of NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. It's a very long name, by the way, for it.
Yeah.
Main event is Tyler Bate challenging Walter for the WWE United Kingdom Championship. I already know this match goes over 40 minutes, and I cannot wait to watch this as we talk more wrestling here. But man, what a I'm just excited just that it's finally here.
Dude, it's a phenomenal fucking match.
It's always great to see. And again, we talked about size differences. There's definitely a size advantage here for Walter He's a big boy. There's no doubt about that. Tyler Bate, who's no slouch.
He's a big, strong boy.
He's a big, strong boy. But he's still a lot smaller than Walter, and he looks fucking tiny next to him. I'm excited to see the clash of styles, and to be perfectly honest, this is the type of matches you're going to see from Walter anyways, because he's so big.
Yeah.
Like, almost everybody's going to be smaller than him. I mean, he's not Big Show size or something like that, but still, I mean, he's still pretty fucking big. But anyways, we did see the Enforcer come out, which is great. It's great to see him back on TV and doing this spot. And Cody picks up the win.
Yeah.
What did you take out of the finish? What was your take?
You know, I had talked to Mr. Wrestling 6 about, and you, about possible future Horseman-esque storylines involved with this, especially now that you have Tully Blanchard involved, you have Arn Anderson involved. You'd be a fool not to. You'd be a fool not to go down that path. I'm not saying you have to use the H word here.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know if you can.
Right. So, you know, obviously that's, you know, probably a no-go for them, but you've got the players.
Mm-hmm.
Why not explore that? And let's be honest with you. This brand new company,
yeah.
Although there are no factions currently,
right?
You have the roster to pull off.
Oh yeah,
some awesome factions.
Absolutely.
And you know, I look at Sean Spears. You know, the moment he teamed up with Tully Blanchard, I'm like, yeah, you know what? In this day and age, Horseman material.
He's definitely Horseman material.
Absolutely,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, so further on down the line, why not? Why not go there?
Let us not forget that the 4 executive vice presidents used to be in a little faction.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So I mean, they know a thing or two about clubs.
Yeah, right.
If you know what I'm talking about there. So yeah, it's definitely plausible. I don't know if they do something like this. I don't know if I really want to see this, but like, what's the likelihood of even getting a Ric Flair involved at this point? Because he kind of goes wherever he wants to go.
He does, and you know what? Why not? Why not?
I just don't want him to be the center of attention like he did with Fortune. Because I loved Fortune in TNA. I thought that was a great idea. But god damn it, it's like, Rick, get off the fucking mic.
Yeah.
Let them be the center of attention. He doesn't know how to be the J.J. Dillon.
No,
that's the thing. That's the problem.
Right.
He's fucking Ric Flair, man. You know, but yeah, dude, I'm totally behind that. I would love to see that. Again, good fucking solid match, and it was different because it led us into what we got next. Escalero de la Muerte, AAA Tag Team titles, Lucha Brothers, Young Bucks. What can I say about this match?
For me, it's match of the night.
You know, this was your runner-up initially. This fucking took it, and
it did.
Without a doubt, match of the night.
These guys, you know, it was booked. You and I talked about it. You know, you wanna, if you're gonna end a feud, you're gonna do it with a bang.
Yeah.
And
your biggest match,
and there was no disappointment here. It was a huge match. You know, we've witnessed all the other altercations between these two teams, and it really did feel like this is it. This is the finale. This is the big one, and I think they did one hell of a job. Kudos to all 4 guys, and that spot that Nick Jackson took, that bump,
that was scary, man.
It was scary. He's on his way out of the ring from a ladder.
Yeah.
And his toes or his feet got caught on the top rope and immediately sent him downward. And he pretty much head-butted the side of a table.
That could have been really bad.
And it could have been really, really bad. Luckily, he's okay. I don't think there was even talk of concussion, but it was nasty to see.
Yeah.
And no, we don't want anybody hurt.
No.
But damn, there was more than a few spots in this match where you're just like, how the fuck are they getting up?
Yeah. You keep asking how are they going to raise the bar, and not that they also went into the match like how are we going to raise the bar compared to other ladder matches that we've seen this year, but how are they going to raise the bar from that to how are they going to beat God versus the Briscoes? How are they going to beat any other fucking ladder match that we've seen? There's been so many this year, and again, not that that's what's their mindset, but as a fan, it's like are they going to even like how do you beat what you saw at Summer Supercard?
Right.
How are you going to beat that? And they did. They continued to just up the ante every single time, and they raised the bar so high. I don't know if it can be touched. And I know I've said that before, but I don't know if it can be touched, and I don't know if it should even be attempted to be touched. As speaking of which, we just saw Volter powerbomb toss Tyler Bate onto the outside turnbuckle, and that was ugly.
Yeah, he should have threw him closer to the pole, to the ring post, and he didn't, and he pretty much hit head first, and he's down for the count. That was a scary moment in this match.
Yeah, we see trainers attending to him. Obviously, for me, it's not really obviously. You guys don't know this. Oh yeah, I did say it earlier. I didn't see this yet. This is my first time seeing it. Joe's seen it, so Tyler Bate's definitely going to be okay because they go 40 minutes, but. That's if you're watching live, that's one of those like oh shit, old shit moments kind of thing. But yeah, man, this was a great way to end this rivalry. It's done. It's over with.
Or so they say.
Or so they say. I mean, are we going to see the Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks against each other again? I hope so.
So do I.
Probably not this year. I would say maybe not, but. At least not, 2-on-2, maybe a 6-man tag or something like that. But, because you also want to space it out. You don't want to keep doing the same match over and over again. Yeah. The rivalry's done. They did the Ladder of Death, and that's as far as it needs to go for now. And you leave the fans with that taste in their mouth because that right there is worth the weight of a rematch. That fucking match. And all four guys, I applaud them. They definitely delivered in ways that, we talked, some matches on here, like, you kind of wish you had a little bit more. This right there, like, you couldn't ask for more.
No, you couldn't.
You couldn't ask for more. And I mentioned the tag team division. The tag team division, it is fucking stacked.
Yeah.
It is stacked in ways that I've never seen. Or it's been a long time.
It's been a very long time.
Growing up, where especially post, the acquisition of WCW, you hungered for tag team wrestling because I loved it, but WWE never really let it flourish the way that it should. AEW has established a tag team division like no other, and at the end of this match. I don't know if we said it or not, but Lucha Brothers win the match. They retain the titles. After this match, we got two masked guys come out and cause chaos in the ring, attack both teams. They unmask, and it's Ortiz and Santana, formerly known as LAX, Impact Wrestling. It's an Impact Wrestling name, so they're no longer called LAX, but Ortiz and Santana have also officially declared themselves members of the AEW Tag Team Division. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry if for all you Christian folks using that, Lord's name in vain there, but it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, just when you thought it couldn't get any more stacked, these two guys show up, and you're like, what the fuck?
Dark Order, Best Friends, we got fucking Lucha Brothers, Young Bucks, Private Party, who are younger, but man, they're fucking good. Angelico, Jack Evans, now Ortiz and Santana, and that's not all.
No, that's not all.
That's not all. That is like I don't even know what to say to that.
I don't either. It's exciting. It's exciting. I grew up with all the territories going on, and early WWF stuff for me.
Yeah.
You had the British Bulldogs, the Heart Foundation.
Yeah.
Very established tag teams.
You forgot the Fabulous Rougeau brothers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Freebirds, the Von Erichs, all those tag teams. It was always exciting. Like, damn, this is great.
Yeah.
I have that feeling back again.
Yeah,
Finally,
dude.
after all this time, I have that feeling back again.
Tag team wrestling, some people like a lot of people nowadays, they have this mentality of like, oh, they got nothing for you. This is our own Sheamus. Like, throw them in a tag team. Throw them in a tag team. No, like, tag teams mean something. Like the situation with Chase Owens, for example.
Sure.
Being called a tag team specialist.
He did it again on Royal Quest.
Come on, stop it. First of all, I hate that because he's a great singles wrestler, and two, he's making it sound like that's a second tier thing. There's nothing wrong with being a tag team wrestler. So many greats have been tag team wrestlers.
Yeah.
And AEW, at least here in the United States, have established that tag team wrestling is alive and well. And if you are a fan of tag team wrestling, both old and new, this is definitely the company for you.
That brings us to our final match on the card. The inaugural AEW World Championship title match between the Fozzy one himself, Chris Jericho.
The Painmaker, Painkiller?
The Painmaker, yeah.
Yeah, Painmaker, Painkiller.
Taking on Adam Page, the Hangman himself. You and I both had our opinions about this match before it happened.
Yeah.
It goes a little over 26 minutes, almost 26 and a half minutes.
Yep.
Your winner, by way of Judas Killer. Or is it
Judas Effect?
Judas Effect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Just goes to show you how much I care about that fucking finishing move. Chris Jericho is your inaugural AEW World Champion.
They got it wrong.
I agree, man. I agree.
They got it wrong.
You and I talked before the match happened, and it could have went both ways.
Sure.
It could have worked both ways, and
Yeah.
now we're forced to see it work the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really would have booked it the other way and had Jericho lose so that they could start TV with Jericho bitching up a storm.
Yeah.
I think that would have been much more entertaining than him coming out already as world champ. For those of you keeping up, what is the deal with his Instagram account? I will tell you. Chris Jericho was at a Longhorn Steakhouse in Tennessee.
Okay.
And apparently someone got in his limo and stole the belt. This has been fact-checked, and the Tennessee State Police will tell you the same thing.
Oh, it's a legit thing.
It is a legit thing. So that brand new belt that cost them thousands of dollars is now somewhere out on the black market, I'm sure. Yeah. So while he was out eating steak and living it up, his shit got stole.
Come on, Jericho. Fucking Canadians.
It's just another reason he should have not been champ. Hangman Page would have never let that belt go missing.
I think Vince McMahon had one of his goons steal it. God damn it, pal.
You know what? You and I have seen some strange things over the course of our wrestling viewership. Yeah,
we've heard some really fucking intriguing stories too.
Yeah, so
about what happens.
I'm not going to say no to that. It could have been. It could have happened. Or who's to say whoever stole it doesn't try to take it to Vince? Like, hey man, I know you want this. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Either way, it's shitty for AEW, man. You got a month to find that fucking belt. You know.
I see. I saw it. I saw it on Facebook that there was a missing belt, and I was like, "Oh, what kind of?" I thought it was just something that they were doing on their YouTube channel because I don't really watch that frequently.
Right.
And I did not know that it legit was stolen.
No, it was legit stolen. The match itself, I will say this. Jericho. I think Jericho did one hell of a performance.
Yeah, I agree.
I did not agree with him using the Judas effect to win the match. I think that is such a weak finisher.
It is.
Um,
Especially how it was done.
and see, that's the thing. It has the potential to be a good finisher. Whether people agree with me on that point or not. You take that into New Japan and you have someone deliver it with a certain level of effect, it becomes a legit finisher. And you can't tell me no, because they fucking love their lariats out there in Japan.
Yeah.
And Stan Hansen will be the first one to tell you something as simple as a fucking clothesline will get you over in a heartbeat.
Rainmaker.
So yeah, exactly.
You know.
So you know, I'm only half sold on the Judas effect.
Well, I mean, let's also look at it. You know, let's be realistic about pro wrestling here, and you know, it's an elbow, and elbows are a fucking dangerous part of your body. You see elbow strikes in MMA, guys get fucking knocked out, man. You know, so I mean,
knocked out, busted open, yeah, you name it, man.
You know, the elbow's a very sharp part of your body, and you will hurt somebody. There's no doubt about that, but the way it's delivered and the way it's sold, it's just not doing it for me. To see the I forget Hangman's finishing move, the Deadeye.
Yeah, the Deadeye.
To see him kick out of the Deadeye, and then for Page not to kick out of the Judas. You know, if you're gonna finish it with a Judas, you need to at least do it twice. He should have kicked out, show more of a resilient challenger, and you know, not only that, but Jericho took 2 of the buckshot lariats, sold none of them well, in my opinion. They were very flat, but I agree though. I thought Jericho did a really good job. You know, because let's face facts. I know he's one of the best wrestlers of all time, but he's well past his prime at this point, but you know, he took all of that and a Deadeye, and he still kicks out, and then Page, he's out with one Judas, and it's like that's.
And you know what? I also wasn't completely sold on Hangman Page in his performance.
Yeah,
I know part of it was because he was hurting.
Yeah,
you know, he took that bump, that knee bump or that shin bump on the ramp.
Yeah.
And that clearly affected what he was doing in the ring. But overall, there were multiple spots in that match where he didn't seem worthy of a title shot. It was like, why is he even in this match?
Sure.
For me, anyway.
Right.
But I still say what I said earlier. I still would have picked Page. Yeah. I still would have picked Page as your winner, because it would have given Jericho a lot more fodder going into television. Be like, I can't believe this guy is your world champion. He's unworthy. You know, he barely won the match. You know, shit like that.
Right.
So that's it. For me, that's it. That'll do it for AEW's All Out. Overall, great fucking card.
Well, let me ask you this.
Sure.
You're 4 shows in.
Yes.
You're a baby company, and you have to sell a product. At the end of All Out, and we'll start from Double or Nothing to All Out, did they sell the product?
Absolutely.
Are they ready for weekly TV shows?
I do. I think they're definitely ready. They have already come out and said you're not going to see the same talent every week.
Mm-hmm.
They want to keep a rotating set of guys.
Sure.
Or a set of people performing week after week. And it makes sense. You have all these people who you hired to be on your roster. Utilize them.
Right.
Don't sit there and pick just a handful and be like, here's who's going to be on TV. Everybody else, no. That's not how it should be.
Right.
You got a whole tag team division to get over. You've got a whole singles division to get over. You got a whole women's division to get over. Get them on TV. Let them be a part of it. Let them do what they do. And simply put, that's just wrestle. Let them wrestle.
Yeah. They also announced November 9th they are going to be in Baltimore, Maryland, Royal Farms Arena for
Tickets go on sale the day this drops.
Okay.
This episode drops. So if you're listening to it, tickets are already on sale. They went on sale at noon today.
So you better get yourself some tickets because they're going to be Royal Farms Arena, Baltimore, Maryland. Roughly 14,000.
Now they're already getting backlash.
Oh no!
About their tickets for this event.
Okay.
Because there are $300 tickets.
Okay.
They made a big stink about, hey, we're gonna make tickets affordable.
Sure.
So why do they have $300 tickets? Well, they beat you to the punch. If you don't already know, the $300 tickets are for select ringside areas in the first 3 rows that will have commemorative collectible seats that you get to keep.
Okay, there you go.
So there's your $300 ticket price right there.
That's worth the price of admission, in my opinion. It's going to be called AEW Full Gear. Again, that's on November 9th. I'm not sure if that's a Saturday or Sunday, but either way, it's going to be November 9th. And they got basically a month worth of TV shows to promote that. Once they go on TNT, again, that's Wednesday, October 2nd. We're going to definitely talk more about that as we get closer to the day. But yeah, that was AEW's final show. And now we the war begins officially. So I'm excited, man.
So am I. Speaking of wars, before we head out for this episode, you and I got to see quite the promo. We've talked about MMA.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
Speed of going all out.
Yeah. So there's a clip. We posted it in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/20x20talk. We'll take you there. You can check it out. It involves MMA legend Tito Ortiz in the octagon with Alberto Del Rio.
Okay.
Now, I'm not too familiar with the promotion that they are a part of, but they're both in the ring. If I'm not mistaken, the pay-per-view or the event was almost over, and they decided to try and hype a match between these two guys. Albert Del Rio has had MMA experience before he got into wrestling.
Yes.
I think he's like 9-5, somewhere around there is his record. So he's less than 20 fights, but still he's fought people like Miracle Crow Cop, which legit MMA.
Yeah, he's 9-5. You're right.
So yeah, I don't remember his MMA in-ring name. I want to say it's like Felipe something or something or another. But
so he changed his name even for MMA.
Yeah,
that's weird. Because his
that
name is Jose.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was something else. I could be wrong, but
he's a weird guy.
Yeah. So and yeah. So what you need to do, go there, check out this promo that was cut live on air, mind you. You have Alberto Del Rio trying to cut a promo that is like very like Vince McMahon-ish to me.
Yeah.
And it loses like everything gets lost in translation, and it just sounds so fucking horrible. To make matters worse, Tito Ortiz decides to rebut him in the ring.
Yeah.
And it just adds to that level of cringeworthy that you're experiencing. It is all shades of awkward, and there's really no other way to explain it. Listen at the very end of this podcast, we will play it for you. It'll just be the audio.
Yeah.
You won't get to see any of the awkward physicalness that takes place, but we'll add it to this episode of the podcast.
Another thing too. to real quick here before
Sure.
before we cut off. I also want to add in another funny tidbit of wrestling information here. The day after the help me out here Clash of Champions,
Okay.
Gears of War 5 is official. You can now play as Batista, small nipples and all.
Oh, that's right.
He is officially a playable character.
Because he's a huge Gears of War guy.
Yeah, he wants to be in the movie.
Yeah, he wants to be in the movie,
He wants
too.
to play Marcus Phoenix.
Yeah.
Which I guess I could kind of see, but
And they jumped at the chance to have him as part of the game. Yeah, yeah.
so it's to me it's silly, but this is the lighter part of pro wrestling. If you will.
And you know what? Now he officially has the smallest nipples in video gaming.
There you have it.
So, wow, he's just breaking all kinds of records here.
He's got all the nipple records.
All the nipple records. Still way more legit than the 24/7 title.
Oh yeah,
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
a title of nipples is more important than anything that company is doing right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to wrap us up this week. Thank you again so much for listening and taking part in the show and social media with us. Definitely enjoy your conversations, even if we have varying differences of opinions. We're going to sit back and finish watching Walter versus the big strong boy Tyler Bate at NXT TakeOver UK Cardiff.
Just keep saying that so fast.
Oh, it's
It's so long.
Facebook.com/20x20crew is our official Facebook page. Once again, Facebook.com/groups/20x20talk is our official Facebook group. Come take a gander at what we got. Twitter.com/20x20crew is where you can hate tweet us. Instagram.com/20x20crew is where you can share photos with us and the like. What am I missing? 20x20crew.com/podcast/YouTube will take you to our YouTube channel where we are reinstating the following contest. Is where Matt and I book fantasy bookings, fantasy matches that may or may not have taken place over the course of wrestling history, but still pretty fucking interesting there, one way or another. And as always, our home on the web, 20x20crew.com, where you can find all of our past episodes, merchandise, factoids, timestamps, the whole nine. I'm done. I got nothing else to say. You want to take us out?
I would. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again. 79 episodes and counting. It's been a hell of a ride.
79 is the new 40.
79 is the new 40. AEW is on a roll. We're on a roll. I've been Matt. He's been Joe. You guys have been fantastic. And until episode 80, we will
See you in the ring.
This episode of the 20x20 Ring Crew is brought to you by GameStop. GameStop, where you can buy new and used video games, consoles, and accessories. Got games you no longer play? Trade them in for cash or credit towards a new game to add to your collection. Become a pro member and save even more money on your purchases, trade-ins, and even get special offers not available to everyone else. If games aren't your thing, GameStop has a wide range of toys, apparel, board games, and other collectibles, including pop vinyls, including exclusives not sold anywhere else. Visit us at 20x20crew.com/podcast/GameStop to find out how you can get started. And remember, power to the players.
Listen, we got a lot more fights coming out. Thank you. We are live right now on DAZN. Hola, DAZN. Learn Spanish, amigos. Also, at 9 o'clock, we go live, Univision, the #1 broadcast network in the U.S., and Televisa, the #1 broadcast network in Mexico. Hola. Okay, we'll see you later. Thank you.
Wait, hold on, Campbell.
Hold on.
I want to know when you need to give me a date so I can whoop this guy's ass for calling me out.
Well, Tito, and I'm gonna call you again. I'm gonna call you out again. You son of a bitch! Are you guys ready for this? Yes, yes, yes! You name it.
You gotta understand, this ain't like no WWE match, partner. I've been doing this shit for 22 years. You know what? See this cage? Get used to looking up those lights, because when he calls this fight's gonna happen, I'm whooping your ass and your face will be going face up.
You see this cage? You see this company? This is my house, perro.
My home.
¿Y dónde está la raza?
This is actually my fucking home. And right after Labor Day, we announced the time, the date, the place, the network where this is going to happen. You don't want to miss this. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Look how little I am. This is amazing. Help, Chingo. Chingo, don't leave me. That's it. We're going to keep the show going. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Get there, baby.